Why won't she walk? There's nothing wrong with her legs. The doctors had been saying the same thing for 23 years. Amelia Thornton sat in her golden wheelchair, staring out the window of her family's mansion. She was 28 years old. She had never taken a single step in her life, at least, not that she could remember. The tests showed nothing wrong. Her spine was perfect. Her nerves worked fine. Her muscles were weak from disuse, but they were functional. Every specialist her billionaire father had flown in from around the world said the same thing. Physically, she could walk, but she couldn't. Every time she tried to stand, her legs turned to water. Her heart would pound. Her vision would blur. She would collapse before her feet even touched the ground. Conversion disorder, the psychiatrists called it. Psychosomatic paralysis. Fancy words that meant her brain had decided she couldn't walk, and her body believed it, but no one could figure out why. Amelia couldn't remember anything before age 5. Her earliest memory was waking up in a hospital bed with her legs refusing to move. The doctors said trauma. Her father said it was a car accident, but the details were always fuzzy, always vague, always locked behind a door in her mind that she couldn't open. So she sat, year after year, watching life happen outside her window. Her father, Walter Thornton, had built a Empire Hotel's real estate, investments worth billions. He gave Amelia everything money could buy. The best wheelchairs, the best therapists, the best medications. But he couldn't give her the one thing she wanted, freedom. Today was her birthday, 28 years old. And she felt older than the mountains. Miss Amelia, her nurse, Patricia, appeared in the doorway. Your father is hosting a garden party for your birthday. Would you like to come down? Amelia laughed bitterly. So I can watch everyone else dance while I sit in the corner. No, thank you. But miss, I said no. Patricia retreated, and Amelia was alone again. She wheeled herself to the window and looked out at the garden. Tents had been set up. Caterers were rushing around. Guests in expensive clothes were starting to arrive. And there, at the edge of the property, near the iron fence, she saw something that didn't belong. A boy. He was young, maybe 11 or 12. Black, thin, wearing clothes that were too big and too dirty. He was standing outside the fence, watching the party through the bars. His face pressed against the iron like a prisoner, looking at freedom. A homeless child, hungry, alone. Something stirred in Amelia's chest. Something she hadn't felt in years, before she knew what she was doing. She was wheeling herself toward the elevator. She was going outside and she didn't know why. By the time Amelia reached the garden, the boy was gone. She wheeled herself through the party, ignoring the guests who tried to wish her happy birthday, searching for the face she had seen at the fence. Amelia. There you are. Her father's booming voice caught her. Walter Thornton was a large man with silver hair and a smile that never quite reached his eyes. I was worried you weren't coming down. I'm fine, father. Amelia's eyes kept scanning the crowd. I just wanted some air. Wonderful. Let me introduce you to later. Amelia wheeled past him. Toward the edge of the property, the fence stretched around the entire estate. 10 feet of iron bars with spikes on top, to keep people out, to keep her in. But near the back corner, hidden behind a row of hedges, there was a gap, a place where the bars had bent just enough for a small body to squeeze through. And sitting on the other side, in the dirt, was the boy. He looked up when he heard her chair. His eyes were large, brown, full of something Amelia recognized instantly: pain. Loneliness, the look of someone who had been invisible for too long. Hey, she said softly. The boy didn't run. He just watched her, cautious, like a wild animal, deciding if she was a threat. I'm Amelia. What's your name? Silence. Are you hungry? There's food at the party. Lots of it. More than anyone could eat. The boy's stomach growled. He looked embarrassed. Wait here. Amelia wheeled back toward the party, grabbed a plate from a startled caterer, and loaded it with everything she could reach. Sandwiches, fruit, little cakes covered in frosting. Then she wheeled back to the fence. The boy was still there. She pushed the plate through the gap in the bars. The boy hesitated for a moment, then grabbed it. He ate like he hadn't seen food in days. Maybe he hadn't. "Thank you," he mumbled between bites. His voice was quiet, rough. "What's your name?" Amelia asked again. "Isaiah." "How old are you, Isaiah?" 11. 11 years old. Alone. Hungry. Living on the streets. "Where are your parents?" Isaiah's face closed, like a door slamming shut. "Gone." Amelia didn't push. She understood about doors that stayed closed. "I'm going to tell my father about you," she said. "He can help. He can find you a place to stay." "No." Isaiah's voice was sharp, scared. "No adults. They put you in the system. They put you in homes where bad things happen. But I'm better alone." Isaiah finished the last cake and wiped his mouth with his sleeve. "Thank you for the food. I'll go now." "Wait." Amelia reached through the bars and grabbed his arm. "Please, don't go." Isaiah looked at her hand on his arm. Then he looked at her face. Then he looked at her chair. "Why can't you walk?" he asked. The question hit Amelia like a punch. No one ever asked her directly. Everyone tiptoed around it, treated it like a shameful secret. "I don't know," she whispered. "I just can't." Isaiah studied her for a long moment. Then he said something that changed everything. "I think you're lying." "Excuse me?" Amelia's voice was sharp. I said, "I think you're lying." Isaiah's eyes were steady, unafraid. "Not to me. To yourself. You don't know anything about me. I know what fear looks like." Isaiah sat down cross-legged on the other side of the fence. "I see it every day. In the mirror. In the faces of people who look at me and pretend I don't exist. Fear makes people hide. Fear makes people stop." He pointed at her legs. "Your legs ain't broken. I can tell. They're scared." Amelia felt tears burning her eyes. This homeless child, this boy who had nothing, was seeing something that 100 doctors and therapists had missed. "You don't understand," she said, her voice cracking. I've tried so many times. My legs just won't work, because something happened." Isaiah's voice was gentle now. "Something bad? Something that made you think walking was dangerous?" Amelia's breath caught in her throat. The locked door in her mind rattled. "I don't remember." Sometimes we don't remember, because remembering hurts too much. Isaiah's old soul eyes held hers, but the body remembers, and it protects us the only way it knows how. "How do you know all this?" Isaiah was quiet for a moment. Then he lifted his shirt. "Scars. Dozens of them. Some small, some long and jagged. The map of a childhood no one should survive. My daddy used to hurt me," Isaiah said quietly. "Every time I heard his footsteps, I would freeze. My body would stop working. I couldn't run, couldn't fight, couldn't do nothing. Even now, when I'm safe, sometimes I hear footsteps and I freeze up." He pulled his shirt back down. "The body remembers, but the body can also learn again. It just needs someone to show it that it's safe." Amelia was crying now, tears streaming down her face. This boy had suffered more than she could imagine, and yet here he was, offering her wisdom she had never found in all her years of expensive therapy. "How did you learn to move again?" she asked. "I found a lady at a shelter. She was a counselor. She told me that the past can't hurt me unless I let it. She said, 'You survived the worst thing. Walking away from the memory can't be harder than living through it.'" Isaiah reached through the bars and took Amelia's hand. "You survived too, Miss Amelia. I can see it in your eyes. Something happened to you, something terrible. But you're still here. You're still alive. And if you could survive that, you can learn to walk again." His hand was warm, small, but strong. "I can't," Amelia whispered. "You can." Isaiah squeezed her fingers. "I'll help you." "Why would you help me?" You don't even know me." Isaiah smiled a sad, knowing smile. "Because someone helped me once, and she told me to pass it on." He stood up, still holding her hand through the bars. "Come back tomorrow, Miss Amelia, same time, and we'll start." Then he let go and disappeared into the shadows, leaving Amelia alone with the impossible hope blooming in her chest. She came back the next day, and the day after, and the day after that. Every afternoon, Amelia would wheel herself to the gap in the fence, and Isaiah would be waiting. Sometimes he was hungry. She always brought food. Sometimes he was tired. She could see the dark circles under his eyes, but he always came. And slowly, day by day, he taught her. "Close your eyes," he said on the third day. "Tell me what you feel." "Nothing. My legs feel like nothing." "Go deeper." "What else?" Amelia concentrated, and suddenly, something stirred, a flicker of sensation, buried so deep she had almost forgotten it existed. "Fear," she whispered. "I feel fear." "Good. That's the starting point. Now, where does the fear live?" They did exercises, visualization, breathing. Isaiah had learned them from the counselor at the shelter, and he taught them to Amelia with patience beyond his years. On the seventh day, something broke open. "I remember," Amelia gasped, her eyes flying open. "I remember." Memories flooded through her, memories that had been locked away for 23 years. She was 5 years old. She was running. There was screaming. Her mother was screaming. "Mommy!" A car. Headlights. Her mother pushing her out of the way. The sound of impact. Blood dot, and then hands, grabbing her, pulling her away from her mother's body. Her father's hands. His voice, frantic, saying, "Don't look, don't look." But she had looked. She had seen everything. "My mother," Amelia sobbed. "My mother died saving me. She pushed me out of the way, and the car hit her instead." Isaiah said nothing. He just held her hand through the bars. "I was running when it happened. I was running and she saved me, and she died." Amelia's voice broke. "I couldn't walk after that, because in my mind, walking meant running, and running meant death." The truth she had hidden from herself for 23 years finally broke free. "It wasn't your fault," Isaiah said quietly. "Your mama saved you because she loved you. That's not something to be ashamed of. That's something to honor." Amelia looked at him through her tears. This child, this homeless, hungry, invisible child, had given her something no doctor ever could. The truth. "I want to try," she whispered. "I want to try to walk." Isaiah nodded. He squeezed through the gap in the fence, coming to her side for the first time. "Give me your hand." She took it. "Now, I'm gonna hold you up, and you're gonna put your feet on the ground. Not walk yet. Just feel the ground." Amelia's heart was pounding. Her whole body was shaking. Isaiah pulled her up, supporting her weight. Her feet touched the grass. "I'm scared," she whispered. "I know." Isaiah's voice was calm, steady. "But I got you. You're safe. Nothing bad is gonna happen." She stood there, shaking, her legs trembling like leaves in the wind. "Now," Isaiah said, "take one step. Just one. I'll hold you the whole time." Amelia looked at the ground. She looked at her feet. She looked at the boy holding her up. "You can do this," he whispered. "I believe in you." She lifted her foot, and she took a step. One single step. For the first time in 23 years, Amelia collapsed into Isaiah's arms, sobbing. "I did it," she cried. "I walked. I actually walked." Isaiah held her tight, a smile breaking across his face. "I knew you could. I knew it." From the house, someone was running toward them. Patricia, the nurse, her face white with shock. "Miss Amelia, you're standing." The commotion brought others, staff members, guests who had stayed overnight, and finally, her father. Walter Thornton stopped dead when he saw his daughter, on her feet, supported by a homeless boy, Amelia. His voice was barely a whisper. Father. Amelia looked at him with new eyes that finally remembered everything. I remember now. I remember the accident. I remember Mother dying. I remember you pulling me away. Walter's face crumbled. He aged 10 years in 10 seconds. You weren't supposed to remember, he whispered. The doctors said the trauma was too severe. They said, your mind had locked it away to protect you. You should have told me the truth. I was trying to protect you. You were trying to protect yourself. Amelia's voice wasn't angry, just tired. You couldn't face what happened, so you let me live in a prison instead. Walter had no response. Tears streamed down his weathered face. Amelia turned to Isaiah, who was still supporting her. This boy did what you never could. He helped me face the truth. He helped me take my first step. She looked at Isaiah's face, really looked. And suddenly, she saw something she hadn't noticed before. His eyes, his jawline, something familiar. Isaiah, she said slowly. What was your mother's name? Isaiah looked confused. Denise. Denise Carter. Why? Amelia felt the world tilt beneath her. Patricia. Her voice was sharp. The woman who worked here 20 years ago. The housekeeper. Her name was Denise, wasn't it? Patricia's face went pale. Miss Amelia, I don't think, answer me. Walter stepped forward, his face ashen. Amelia, don't answer me. Patricia nodded slowly. Yes, Denise Carter. She worked here until the accident. Amelia's mind raced. The accident. Her mother had died, but there had been another woman there that night. A woman who had been driving the car that hit her mother. What happened to Denise Carter? Silence. What happened to her? Walter's voice came out broken. She was driving that night. She was bringing her baby home from the hospital. A new baby boy. She swerved to avoid hitting you, and she hit a tree. She died at the scene. Amelia looked at Isaiah, the boy who had appeared at her fence, the boy who had helped her walk, the boy who had given her back her life. You were that baby, she whispered. Your mother died the same night as mine. Isaiah's face was a mask of shock. What? Your mother was trying to save me too. She swerved so she wouldn't hit me, and she died. Your mother died saving me, just like mine did. Isaiah staggered backward. No, that's not, that's why you found me. Amelia grabbed his hand. That's why you came to this house. That's why you knew how to help me. We're connected, Isaiah. We've been connected since the night we both lost our mothers. 2 children, to mothers. 1 tragedy, and 23 years later, they had found each other again. 6 months later, Amelia Thornton walked onto a stage not wheeled. The auditorium was filled with hundreds of people, doctors, therapists, journalists, survivors of trauma from all over the world. They had come to see the woman who had spent 23 years in a wheelchair and finally learned to walk. But Amelia wasn't alone. Walking beside her, holding her hand, was Isaiah Carter, now legally adopted. Now her brother in every way that mattered. The crowd erupted in applause, but Amelia held up her hand for silence. 6 months ago, she began, I had given up on ever walking. I had given up on ever living. I was trapped in a chair that wasn't built from metal and wheels. It was built from fear and grief and memories I couldn't face. She looked at Isaiah. Then a homeless boy appeared at my fence. A boy who had lost everything: his mother, his home, his childhood. A boy who had every reason to give up, but he didn't give up. He survived, and when he saw me trapped in my fear, he reached out his hand and said, "You can do this." Her voice broke. I thought I was helping him when I brought him food. I thought I was the one with power, the one with resources, the one who could save him. But I was wrong. He saved me. A homeless child, a boy the world had forgotten, looked at me and saw something I couldn't see in myself. She squeezed Isaiah's hand. He saw that I was strong enough to face the truth. He saw that I was brave enough to take a step. He saw that I was worthy of healing not because of my money or my family name, but because I was human. Amelia turned to face the audience directly. Our mothers died on the same night, trying to save me. For 23 years, I carried the guilt of their deaths without even knowing it. I thought walking was dangerous. I thought living was dangerous. I thought if I just stayed still enough, nothing else bad could happen. She shook her head. But staying still isn't living. It's just waiting to die. She took a deep breath. Today, I'm announcing the creation of the Carter Thornton Foundation. We're going to help children who have been forgotten by the world, foster children, homeless children, children trapped by trauma, and we're going to help adults, like me, people who have given up on themselves. People who are trapped in chairs made of fear. Isaiah stepped forward to the microphone. I was invisible, he said, his voice stronger now than it had been 6 months ago. I was a homeless kid that people walked past without seeing. But Miss Amelia, my sister, she saw me. She didn't look through me. She looked at me. He turned to face her. And when I looked at her, I saw someone who was trapped, just like I was. Not by bars or by streets, but by something inside her. So I did what that shelter lady did for me. I told her the truth, and I told her she was strong enough to hear it. The audience was silent, captivated. You don't have to be rich to help someone, Isaiah continued. You don't have to be powerful or famous. You just have to see them, really see them, and tell them, you can do this. He looked at Amelia with eyes full of love. That's all it takes. 3 words. And someone who believes them. Amelia pulled Isaiah into a hug as the audience rose to their feet. The applause was thunderous, but neither of them heard it. They were too busy holding on to each other. 2 orphans who had found their way home. Later that night, they stood on the balcony of the mansion, looking at the stars. You know what I keep thinking about, Isaiah said. What? Our moms? They're up there somewhere, watching. And I think they're happy. I think this is what they would have wanted. Amelia smiled through her tears. 2 strangers who became family. Because of them. Because of love, Isaiah corrected. They loved us enough to die for us. And now we love each other enough to live for them. Amelia looked at her feet, her strong, steady feet that had carried her across the stage. I never thought I'd walk again. And I never thought I'd have a family again. Isaiah grinned. Guess we were both wrong. They stood together in the moonlight, 2 survivors of the same tragedy, finally free. Because sometimes, the people who save us aren't the ones we expect. They're the ones the world has forgotten. The ones who appear at our fences, hungry and invisible, and see something in us that we can't see ourselves. And all they have to do is hold our hand and whisper, you can do this. The world is full of invisible people. Children sleeping on streets. Adults trapped in prisons of fear. Survivors carrying wounds no one can see. We walk past them every day without knowing their stories, without knowing their gifts, without knowing that they might hold the key to our own healing. But here's the truth. The forgotten ones often see the clearest. Those who have suffered understand suffering. Those who have been overlooked know what it means to really look at someone. Don't wait for a hero to save you. The hero might be the person you least expect, a homeless child, a stranger at your gate, someone the world has thrown away. And don't wait to be saved before you save someone else. You don't need money or power or special skills. You just need to see someone, really see them, and believe in them. 3 words can change a life. You can do this. Say them to someone today. Mean them. And watch what happens when an invisible person finally feels seen. Because miracles aren't magic. They're just people choosing to believe in each other, 1 step at a time.